Well, hello. You know, we are still in that transition time where we were celebrating Christmas. Maybe we're still celebrating Christmases, having wonderful festivities, whether it's New Year's parties, New Year's Eve parties, gathering together, having friends. And it's that odd time where you kind of don't know what to do. You're in flux. You're still eating a ton of food, obviously, and you're still celebrating something, but you also aren't quite in the same Christmas mode. So this is a recipe that is a great thing to use whether you're just getting together with family and friends, maybe for New Year's Eve, maybe you're still having a late Christmas and you just want something festive. This is a festive slush. If you don't know what slush is, welcome to the Midwest in my kitchen. This is something my grandma made every Christmas. And oftentimes our Christmases were a week after Christmas or whatever it was. And you know how a food becomes a memory and attached to a season just because that's when you always had it? That's the slush. The flavors, you wouldn't scream, think festive, but when you put them together and when you have them at a fun time, whether it's a New Year's Eve party, whether you're celebrating something, this becomes an iconic slush. And let me tell you something, if you haven't had slush, you're gonna love it. Bear with me on the unique ingredients, but once they come together and it gets frozen, I crave this. And I only have it usually once a year. So to start, we're gonna make a simple syrup, and it's kind of a heavy simple syrup in the sense that it's half water, half sugar. A simple syrup is water and sugar. So we're gonna put in water, just regular water here, and what we're gonna do to it is add an equal amount of sugar. So a lot of times when you're mixing cocktails, you're doing something that's gonna call for simple syrup. Sometimes there's lighter simple syrups that don't have as much sugar, the ratio. Sometimes there's even heavier ones. This is strictly half the same amount of each, equal parts. So I'm gonna put in the sugar. Yeah, we're still in the mode where we're doing sugar this time of year. You know what? January is for the reset. Right now is just for enjoying it. So I'm gonna take this over to the stove. I'm gonna let it come up. We don't need to hard boil it. We just wanna dissolve all the sugar and make sure that it's all clear. So that will take a couple minutes, and while we're doing that, we're gonna go back and get some other things ready. While that is dissolving, I am just juicing a few lemons. So this has multiple forms of lemon, but this is kind of that fresh kick of lemon we want. That fresh flavor that has that nice acidity to it, and it really offsets the kind of more sweet side of this, because it is definitely sweet. I don't know what slush comes from. I'm gonna guess the 50s, 60s, kind of that era when there were a lot more big gatherings and people would make something to have and gather around and celebrate. So what we're gonna do here is, this is lemon juice. And in here I have gelatin. I'm putting one more pack in. And what gelatin does, just like Jell-O, it kind of helps create a nice body to it and not quite freeze like something would. Like, this is a slush, and so we don't want it to freeze just like an ice cube. We want it to retain some type of slushiness. I know, we shouldn't describe the word with what it is. So what we're doing is we're blooming this gelatin. So we're just stirring it with this lemon juice, which will look kind of gross. But as it sits, it's going to absorb that liquid, and it's going to become almost just like this thick, hard paste. And then we just melt it into the hot mixture on the stove once that's done. So I'm gonna let this just slowly soak up that lemon juice. We're gonna let it congeal. We're gonna let this come up just to a simmer until all that sugar's dissolved. Put it together, then mix it all together. So this all literally, it was kind of cloudy, kind of grainy, and then all at once, it just went clear. That's how you know it's ready. So that simple syrup now has completely dissolved the sugar. It's clear. And look at this grossness. This is gelatin once it congeals. And what we want to do now is have it kind of melt into this hot mixture. So we pick it up and we put it into this hot mixture and let it slowly melt into it. Now, you could use that packaged, flavored gelatin in the store. The reason I don't like to do that, it has a lot of other things in it too, which we're doing enough sugar as it is. We don't need the added sugar. We don't need all the other stabilizers in it. So for this case, this is gonna work perfectly. So we're gonna slowly let this stir and just kind of melt into that hot mixture, which it takes just a couple minutes. But while that's doing that, which by the way, if you haven't worked with gelatin, straight gelatin, which I always keep on hand for homemade marshmallows, yeah, they're good. It has a unique aroma to it, but we're gonna make it smell really good here soon. So what we're gonna do is use flavors that are bright, that are citrusy, which I think is great going into the new year, because beginning of winter is kind of always that great time when a lot of citrus comes in season. So what we're gonna do is add a whole bunch of juices. So we're gonna start with pineapple juice. I love, now this is all juice, 100% juice. So we're adding in wonderful pineapple juice. So you get that wonderful sweetness. It has a good balance to it because it has a little bit of that tartness to it too. And we're gonna put that right in there. And then we're adding in some lemonade concentrate. Now, what a concentrate like this does, yes, it has the sugar in it. It also just has a concentrated flavor. So we have the lemonade concentrate, but we also have that lemon that's going to kind of offset it and give it even more brightness and citrus notes. We're gonna add in orange juice concentrate, 100% orange juice concentrate, nothing else with it. So right now you can kind of tell, we're getting those strong citrus bright flavors, and that's what I love. Now to this, and this is the unique thing, and it is a necessity, and it is what makes this iconically, like in my mind, I see grandma making it, I can taste it in her house, almond extract. It's weird. I love the 50s and 60s. They found the most unique recipes. Now, what almond extract does, and yeah, it's a good chunk of it too, is it really kind of just creates a flavor that you can't explain it until you try this. It completely brings out the citrus notes in a unique way. Once you add the almond in, you aren't thinking, oh, pineapple, oh, orange, oh, lemon. You're just thinking this unique flavor that you love. Like I have never had someone try this that doesn't just fall in love with this slush. So now all my gelatin, you can see, has dissolved. And it's just now pretty much, not quite a clear liquid, but pretty much. You have a little bit of that lemon in there. So we're gonna add it right into here. Look at that, all good. And we're gonna stir it. We're gonna make sure it's all combined. And we're gonna now put in a little bit more water. So we have a lot of concentrated flavors, and now we wanna put in some water, so it actually creates it more of a slush. And once this water is in here, guess what? We're done. Now, obviously, there's nothing to do with this yet. You could drink it. That's not quite what you do. Instead, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put this in the freezer. Now, if you wanna speed it up, you could put this in cake pans. You can put it in loaf pans. But what we're gonna do is we're going to put it in the freezer. And every so often, I'm just gonna go in with a fork and just try to fluff it up. It will start freezing around the edges first, and I'll kind of draw that in, because the more you can fluff it with a fork while it's freezing, maybe every hour, every 40 minutes, it will get smaller ice crystals and be a better slush. Just saying. So I'm gonna stir this. We're gonna put a lid on it, put it in the freezer, and when we come back, I'm gonna show you how you serve this. Because let me tell you something, once you have it once, you're gonna be finding places to serve it all the time. It's that good. The slush has been in the freezer, so I left it in all night, obviously. It's the next day. And you can go in interspurtantly as it is freezing, and you can kind of rough it up, or what I do usually, you can do it in small containers too, so it's not so much at once. But what I do is I let it out at least 1 to 2 hours before I want to actually have it, and then just take some type of heavy utensil, and look how it just becomes this beautiful slush. So it's this like perfectly slushy consistency. This is what you want, a slush. And I know if you haven't had slush, you're gonna say, I am so confused what slush is. It's delicious. Let's not say nutritious, but it's nutritious for our minds because it's so good. And it can be festive. It can be something you have really any time of the year, but we just always had it around the holidays. So to me, that's what it is. To serve it, it's kind of a make your own if you want to. You can kind of have a different like bar or area where you have everything kind of on. It's usually mostly a virgin thing that we have. We don't usually put alcohol in it, but if you do, you can have rum to put in it. You can even do like an apricot brandy, that would be really good with it. But what I do is you just take glasses or whatever you want, you start scooping some in, and that can kind of be however much you want. Like, to me, it's kind of a desserty or something you have depending on the time. And then I love it with just a good kind of soda. You know, just like that lemon lime hit with like, and you get the fizzy. If you want to dress it up, because why not? Let's just put a little beautiful Luxardo cherry on it. Look how pretty that is. They just have the stems on them. They're the fancy maraschino cherries. And then guys, it's ready to go. You got your soda on, you got your slush on, I got my smile on. I can't even describe the flavor, it's so good. There's a tropicalness, a fruitiness, obviously a sweetness, but it's really well balanced. There's a little bit of tang to it, so it's just not all one note of sweet. And then that lemon lime soda, it really kind of balances everything out, especially with the fizz with it. Now, the cherry is just, let's be honest, no pun intended, I'm joking, it's the cherry on top, total pun intended, because it's beautiful and it just adds something. This is your next party drink. It is perfect because all kids, all adults will love it. You can make it more adult if you want to or not. We never did. Literally, we had this at family Christmases. No alcohol whatsoever. And it's good. You mix it up, you enjoy it, and it's just a treat. I think Slush is gonna become one of your favorites and maybe on some of your, menus coming forward because it's that good. So what do I hope you do with this? I hope you make Slush and I hope you invite the town over because it makes quite a bit. So have everyone over, have a Slush party, and just enjoy it. That's the point of good food, is to gather people around, have fun, enjoy it, celebrate. If nothing else, celebrate the day. So share this around because that helps me so much when you share these videos, but it helps everyone else see this is doable, this is fun, and it's festive. Check my website, wiseguide.com, for this recipe and all my other recipes. They are in full on there and you can print them off. And until next time, try something new, eat something good, and enjoy it. That's the point.